let me upload for the people that are online so that also benefit from this. Good morning, everybody. Okay, my name is Mr. Olai, and today we are going to be looking at sensorial education, as I said earlier. Sensorial education is one of the learning areas in Missouri. I don't know if we know this. How many learning areas do you have in Missouri? Five. And any of us, and any one of you guide us through those areas?
We have language, numeracy or math, sensorial, practical life, and geography.
Unfortunately, we don't have geography. Okay, we have what we call cultural arts. Now, and under cultural art, that's where we have geography. We have geography, we have botany, we have zoology, we have anatomy, we have music, we have art, and some other, other cultural arts. So because it's one of the most broad learning areas in Missouri. Because you'll be surprised that you are doing music. Where is music? So that's why it's under cultural arts. So all these are things that are under cultural arts. You understand? So those are the five learning areas in Missouri. Once again, my name is Mr. Olai, and we are going to be talking about sensorial art, which is one of the learning areas in Missouri, as I've mentioned earlier. Regarding what I mentioned earlier about things you are going to be doing here, since you are new, I don't know if I've given you the manual, the curriculum. I've not. So remind me before the end of the so I can give you the manual. So it comprises of everything you are going to be learning one after the other. So, and all the learning areas I have mentioned earlier, I just mentioned, are the things they are going to be learning from. And they are going to learn how to use each material under each area. But today, we are looking at sensorial. Now, the sensorial comes from the word senses. That word sensorial comes from the word senses. And one of the things that God has done is that has deposited in us on every individual and every human being is sense. Immediately you give birth to a child, before you give birth to that child, the child already has sense. And the child has already started exhibiting those senses. That is why, I don't know, I'm not a woman anymore, but I've heard women say those mothers that they says you have the opportunity to speak to the child inside your tummy, even your womb, before you bring the child out. I don't know how true is that, but I believe I used to hear that a lot. So that tells you that there is actually a communication, and the person you are talking to really understand what you are telling the person. So that means there's something, the brain, the senses is there. Then giving birth to the child. Then why do we now have to introduce them to sensorial? The next one, music. Okay. Sorry, please excuse me.
Sorry.
Okay. So as I was saying, why do we now have to, when somebody already has sense, why do we now have to teach them on sensorial? Why sensorial? Now, the reason why we have to, what sensorial does is that sensorial help the individual to refine their senses, refinement of senses. Now, I say, as there's no new experience for the child to take from sensorial work, there's no new experience for the child to see. What the sensor, um, the child is able to concentrate on the refinement of all his senses. That is what sensorial does. Because there's no new sense the child want to put on the child, but they need to refine those senses. Now we have different senses. I don't know if you know. Now those are things we call sense organ, Abi. How many sense organ do you have? Five. But according to Montessori, we don't have five. We have up to is it 8 or 9? So let me start mentioning them. Number one, visual sense. We have what we call the visual sense. Now it's 8. Okay, it's 8. We have the visual sense. We have the tactile sense. I'm going to explain them one after that. Tactile. Tactile. Tactile sense. We have the baric sense. The baric. Baric. Baric senses. We have the thermic. The thermic sense. Thermic. The thermic senses. We have the auditory sense. Auditory sense. We have the olfactory senses. Olfactory. Olfactory. Olfactory senses. We have the gustatory. 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 Then the last one is the stereognostic. 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 So stereognostic. So I think it's up to it, right?
Yes, 8.
That's it. Those are the 8 senses. Now, those exercises, those senses I mentioned now, Montessori group them in different exercises, different areas, those senses, because they help one another. Now, moving through this, the purpose and aim of sensorial work is for the child to acquire clear and conscious information.
Answer sheet for nothing. This is a lecture answer sheet.
There's no lecture answer sheet.
No.
Yeah, the question is 1 to 100. They will turn over then they should write out number the listing. Sorry. Okay, I said the purpose and the aim of sensorial work is for a child to acquire clear and conscious information and to be able to then make classification in his environment. Now, I also believe that sensorial experience begins at birth. Sensorial experience begins at birth. Now, through his senses, the child study his environment. That is where the child is going to. Now, one thing again that you should factor out is if you grew up in a silent environment, maybe the environment is very secluded area, maybe at the end of the street, close, to be precise, like this place, you have your buildings there, your school is not too far away, it's not in a lousy environment. By the time you get to a certain stage in your life and you get to an environment or anywhere, you won't get yourself right because you're not used to it. You understand what I'm saying? If your house is up facing the main road, maybe you grew up, your house used to be facing the main road. By 4 o'clock in the midnight, you are thinking, you are used to it. So anybody that now take you from here to one area that there is no noise, your body will tell you that is this how life is? No, this no, I'm not used to this. Because the senses, the way your senses are, anything your senses perceive in the environment is what they are going to get trained to. If the senses is perceiving violence, and the person has been trained to violence, any little thing like this to aggravate, so that's it. Now, through this study, a child then begin to understand his environment, as I said earlier. Why? Because Montessori called the child to Montessori, the child is called sensorial explorer. That's the name Montessori give them. They call the child sensorial explorer. Sensorial explorer. Why is sensorial very important to them? One of the reasons why it's important to them is that it's give um, using the material, the child is given the key to classify things around him, which leads to making to the child making his own experience in his environment through classification of material, weighing of material, texture, loudness, softness, matching of objects and materials, weighing of objects, feeling temperatures, and so on like that. All those senses I mentioned are under this system. So those are the things that the child is going to use. That's when the child is going to know the difference between warm, hot, and cold. That's when the child is going to be able to know the difference between raining and sunny. That's when the child is going to be able to know if it's in the morning or it's in the night. The child is going to be able to differentiate if it is sweet, bitter, sour, tasty, salty, spicy, and so on like that. So all of this, there's material for everything that I've mentioned so far, that is going to refine the child's senses for the child to be able to figure out how will you feel if you are cooking. For example, sometimes when some people moment when they are cooking, they will put small on their hand like this. It needs small salt. How do you know? Because of the taste. You understand? But did your child know? Can you tell your child, help me to taste this thing, if it's salty or not? But you can actually train their senses. That's one of the reasons. If a child has gone through sensorial classes, the child can tell if something is sour, or if something is bitter, if something is salty. Now let's start with the senses, the 8 senses, as I mentioned earlier. Number 1, I mentioned the visual senses. Now, the visual senses, the child learns how to visually discriminate differences between similar objects and different objects. The child learns how to visually discriminate differences between similar objects and differing objects. Now let me give a very good example of this similar objects. Now, everything I'm having here are all what? What shape are they? They are circle. Similar objects. But differing. What differs there? The circumference, then the colors, the sizes, the circumference, the radius, and the colors. The colors are different. You understand? But they are all circle. You understand what I'm saying now? Visual. The child is able to visualize and discriminate between similar objects and different objects. Then number 2 is what?
Number 2 is tactile sense.
Tactile, okay? Now, with the tactile sense, the child learns through his sense of touch. Through the what? Through the sense of touch. That's tactile. Tactile means the sense of touch. Although the sense of touch is spread throughout the surface of the body. You understand what I'm saying? It's spread throughout the surface of the body. Because what you feel with your hand might get to your skin. You might feel something different about it when you get to your skin. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I say it's spread through the surface of the body. So this exercise is given and should be limited to the fingertips of a child. And particularly of those that are right-handed. On the right hand, rather. Particularly on the right hand. Now, I said the exercise spread across the whole of the body. The exercise spread across both it must be limited to the fingertips of the child, of the individual, particularly to those of the right hand. Now, if the child is left-handed, you can allow the child to feel with his left hand. Why? Because that is his own domiciliary hand, and the way the brains work, you know the way the brain works for people that are using left and people that are using right. So the way they get information from their left hand, right hemisphere, is because they are sending from the left hand. So let them feel with the what left hand using their fingertips. Now, and this allow the child to focus on what he is feeling through concentration of a small part of the body. Now, the reason why we always say is that this finger have connections to the brain. I hope you all know that. You know that almost every part of our body is connected to our brain. These fingertips have a particular nuance that by the time this surface now, look at it, the surface of this thing, compared to the surface of this place. This one is smooth, while this one is what? Rough. So when you are looking it from afar, you might not be able to differentiate. That two things you are seeing there, those two things you are seeing there, one is smooth, one is rough. The road is rough, while the other places there are smooth, because the texture used in producing them are different. So then we have another senses. Which was the next one I mentioned?
Barry.
The Barry sense.
Next paper, please. Everyone is writing the same.
Except nothing are having their own paper separately.
They have their own paper. Okay, first of all, give a out.
Yes.
Are we ready?
Please, the question, hello. The one they did just now, please, can I make the question?
Yes, please.
You have to pick the one they did just now. The one they did. The final got from yesterday. He got back. Okay, we have the Barry senses. I mean, is that not what?
Yes.
Yeah, the Barry sense. The child learn to feel difference of pressure or weight of different objects. Pressure or weight of different objects. Pressure or weight of different objects. That's the Barry. Now, that it's the same size does not mean it can weigh the same way. I hope you understand what I'm saying. That it's the same size does not mean it's going to weigh the same. That's where they need their Barry senses. Then they will be able to tell you that it's big does not mean it's heavy. I can have something as big as this table. I can tell that this big table, I can just bring something small like this, and the thing will be heavier than this table. But if you look at it, you can even tell the child that out of this table and which one is more heavier. The child will tell you that the table is heavier because he believes the table is what? Big.
In terms of
Size. But when we are talking about the Barry senses of it, it's what? It's small. It's lighter than the other one. We have the material for that. This is it here. The weight material. See. Hold it very well. Pass it across. Say it very good.
it looks lighter, but this is what they call small as in even the adults things that taking something.
Okay? So this is used to teach weight. Then we have scale that we always use. That's it. That we always use. That we use to differentiate the sizes. Say they can put it on the this thing. They're able to see the thing will read. You understand? Some of us don't even know. Even when we go to these people that used to measure chicken, we don't know. They will doing it in our front here. We don't know which one is one something. I'm looking for. Let's say, Madam, I'm making it. Okay. They just call it for you do not know whether okay, you did not pay because you don't know how to measure it, how to check the distance. But if you do indeed, I have asked somebody, the person explained to me, and now I have scale here, so I already know how many kilo, how many gram. Okay. So the one up is measuring a grammage, the one down is measuring kilogram. So you tell me it's 1 kilo, and I feel like this is not touching one, madam is not touching one.
Of course.
So that's the baritons, okay. Now, when they want to do this material, when they want to use this material, most of this sensorial material, we always blindfold the child before we use the material. Why do we blindfold them? Because we want them to have an 100% concentration. There is a level of concentration when your eyes is being, when you close your eyes or you blindfold, there's this high level of concentration in you when you are being blindfolded. You will want to put all your energy, all your focus on that thing for you to be able to know what exactly that thing is. That's why they are going to be blindfolded. So then I can bring something like this and look for something that is bigger than this, that I know it's way less than this, and ask the child to differentiate the sizes. It's only the child is not blindfolded, the child can tell. So, when the child is blindfolded, the child am I doing something like this? Or something like this. But this thing is still way than this. But this one is heavy. It's not heavy. This is heavier. Sure, on my left hand I can feel it. So then we have which other senses? Now, with the time the child work to refine his sense of temperature. There's what we call thermic tablets, or thermic bottle, or thermic bowl, anyone you have. The child work to refine his sense of temperature, thermic sense of temperature. So all of those things that I will mention material under each one of it. All the material under each areas. Then I'm done explaining. So that's when we now start with the process. So the child differentiates between hot, cold, warm, which one again? Hot, cold, warm. I guess that's all. They're normal, just moderate temperature, because there are some temperatures that they are not hot, they are not cold, they are not warm, they are just moderate. You understand? So then if you have this thing that they always use to measure thermometer, you can bring it on to check the temperature of that thing for them to see the degree. You understand? This is actually going to make it more advanced. But normally there is a bottle where you are going to, and again, before I go proceed, so I don't forget. Don't ever, when you are teaching children the temperature of the thermic area, don't ever use hot to teach them. Rather use warm. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Because hot can get, hand might get burns. And hot, what you see as warm in your hand might be hot for them.
Yes.
So that's why I say you should use what? Hot, warm. Then you now use a bit, just mild warm to represent warm.
Like something in a
Look one form. Then normal water temperature. Then maybe an ice something to teach cold. That's the 4 different temperature you're going to teach. The remaining grammar. Or is 0 now enough?
No, it's enough. You've studied everything, right?
Not everything.
Why?
I was yesterday evening doing this thing.
You are stressing me.
No verse man.
This one is not enough. Now, how many am I? 3.
Yes, still everybody is still. Okay, we have auditory. The child discriminates between different sounds. The child discriminates between different sounds. That's under auditory. The child discriminates between the two different sounds. The child discriminates between two different sounds. That's auditory. Now, in doing this activity,
This is final exam. This final exam.
in doing this different exercises, the child will refine and make and makes him more sensitive to the sound in his environment. Now, there's one thing that my kids know that even there's no one that's doing that. If you are coming, even though you are tiptoeing, I will know. For you to know how sensitive I am to sound.
Sorry, you said in doing these different exercises,
The child will refine and make him more sensitive to the sound in his environment, because they will be able to differentiate between the sound of this one, the sound of this, the sound of water, the sound of, they will be able to know, okay, water is dripping somewhere, it's raining outside. If it's raining outside, I'll be able to person. You guys know that it's raining, because sometimes you might even put on gel and the noise of gel will not let you know it's actually raining outside. But they will open the window and see that it's actually raining. Because my ears are always around the environment. I don't know. The way I hear my own sound is always a bit different. So, but when you train your kids with multiple sound, different sound of this thing, with all of these materials under sound, they will be able to factor out. They will be able to figure out a particular voice among 100 voices at the same time. When we are making noise, you'll be able to tell. See why if I come and meet you there, I know you. And you hear Tiwa's voice down. Other people too know that I'm actually sending a message to you. You know that Tiwa is the one that started this. So you'll be able to figure out that so person is so place. But sometimes we just that too as an adult. You will not even see the person, you have heard the person's voice. And you're like, this is. And one thing I want us to know is that this about here, we can hear millions of sounds, and yes, we keep hearing it. God will not let us have any issues with our head. But that's why during our childhood we hear different kind of music, and we are still listening to music now. People are still talking to us now. People have been talking to us since our childhood. Till we are going to pass out, people will still keep talking to us. So for you to know that the sound, because it's not the senses anyway. So it's you keep hearing different sound of different things. Now from this environment, this place we are now, if I keep quiet, you are going to be hearing sound of students. You will hear the sound of the lecturer, the person supervising. You will hear the sound of the generator. You hear the sound of people that are passing. If you keep quiet, you will hear the sound of this thing, this fan. You understand what I'm saying? That is why we always say they should be blindfolded, so that they will be able to concentrate. Because there are some sounds that are similar, but they are different. They are similar, but they are different. Gary sound, when you check it, is different from sound. I hope you know. But they are both little distinct. Beans sound is different from maize sound. If you put maize corn inside something cylinder and you shake it, they are similar. They are both the legumes and the sounds are different. Rice sound is different from wheat sound, but they are both grains. The sounds are different. It requires that you put down the sound. But I don't want to use this concept, so you will see what I'm talking about. Okay, which other one do we mention? Olfactory. Olfactory, the child is given a key to his sense of smelling. Sense of smelling. Now, it is not all sense of smell that you are going to introduce to the children. Don't go and put something that is spoiled, one bad something, now go and cover it. Now say you want them to teach them bad smell. We did not teach bad smell. When they get to an environment where that is messy, your brain will tell that this place is bad oh. E smell because at least when they get home, when they poo, they always see that or somebody pollutes the hair, you know. So don't do that. But we teach them in other senses, like to teach them with takum. Takum is powder. Teach them with perf. Teach them with normal one that does not have any smell. There's no any smell. The material is called smell jar. So we teach them with different smells, but not bad smell. Although we can't teach them with all smells because there are some smells that they are going to be getting across in their life. Like when you get to your particular environment, you like when something is burning, you know there's a smell for when something is burning.
Yes.
When something is frying, there's another smell for frying. When something is boiling, there's another smell for boiling. So you can't teach them all the smell, but you can just refine their senses about some smells. Nice smell, please. Then we have the last one, which is gustatory. Yeah, the gustatory. Oh, is that cerebrosis? Okay, gustatory. Yeah, let's talk about gustatory. The child work with the refinement of his sense of taste. That's the gustatory. Sense of taste. Sense of taste. Now, it is not also all tastes that you are going to introduce to the child as well. You are going to introduce them to salty, sweet, bitter, sour, and which one again? Which other one again? Don't introduce them to spicy. But you can mention spicy. The reason is that some of them are allergic to spicy, to anything spicy. They don't eat pepper in their house. They can buy 500 pepper and buy 10,000 tomato. So they don't eat pepper at all in their house. So don't introduce spicy at all. Somebody have once said maybe we should use tomato paste. They use tomato paste that they call tomato mix. They always ask small spice like this to teach spicy. I said, what if the child is allergic and you get home, you started reacting someone? You reach police station, you explain it. So, no, not to do like this. Oh God, I don't know it. I don't do anything. The best thing is just
the paper for
maintain your professionalism.
So writing is what?
Attend that service.
Yes. For music.
I'm not doing it.
Sensorial. No, because of that. The other one I submitted is just one.
I don't know. As far as the topic I raised, I will give it to you this time, the following sheet to the lecturer.
This one is okay.
No, they say about that one.
Yes.
Okay, then the last one is the
The other one
stereognostic.
was 29, yes.
Now, in stereognostic exercise, the child learn to feel objects,
So you can start from the side.
and make recognitions based on what he or she feels. The child will feel the object, then make recognition of what he or she feels. Now, how does this happen? The child is going to be blindfolded. There's what we call mystery bag. The child is going to dip his hand in the mystery bag and feel a particular object and tell us, what are you feeling? Okay, it's an apple. No. It's round. Okay, let's see. The child actually brought it and it's indeed an apple. You know, they're going to discriminate by feeling alone to tell what they are touching, what they feel. You can give this. But when doing that exercise, make sure it is a material that the child is familiar with in real life, that the child can see and recognize. You go and put this rainbow stakana inside that thing. or you decide to go and put this one there, they can still, they can still factor out this. Maybe you decide to put this thing there. There's no way a child can know this is a compass as there, because they won't think of it that especially something round can be anything can be round. You understand what I'm saying? Anything can be round. But to tell that it is indeed a compass, it will be very hard for them. So that's why it must be something they can relate with immediately they touch. So now when the arm and the when the hand and the arm are moved, no, you can leave that. There's an expression. An expression of movement added to the touch. Such impression is attributed to the special sixth senses. They call it the sixth senses. That expression, that when you feel around something, you are not just using your normal sense of this thing, touch again, or this thing. The sixth senses, which is called the muscular sense, and which permit many impressions to be stored in the muscular senses, which it what recall the movement that we have been able to make. Now, when you, for example, you are blindfolded and you have touched a material, you have touched something and you feel it, and by the time they open the blindfold, you see that indeed what you touch is what is right. That thing will register in your brain, even though you see the thing anywhere around the world, you will recognize it, because it has what will register in your muscular senses. Not until you touch it again, you have it will register there. You see, anywhere you see it. That's why some people tell you that there is no place I will see this thing, I will not know it. I will not know Kenny. You're like, there's no place I see, I will not know you. Because there's a reason. That means there's a particular place that thing has deposited. But there's actually some things that you see, and you see them again, and you see like, I'm not too sure. You've seen it before. I'm not sure. You've seen it before. That means there was no any deposition of or recognition of you in me in the brain somewhere. But if you have deposited it somewhere, even though the next 10 years you see that person, the person might change a little. You see your schoolmates sometimes, some of your old classmates or secondary schoolmates, after so many years, and like, Temi. I say it's Temi. I will not know you. Why would me? I will not know you. You tell them a big chick and your, that means there's something that deposited already somewhere. And some people would say, I saw one of my old classmates yesterday, a lady particularly, and me and one of my best friends there, we went to the same secondary school, so we always go together. So yesterday, when I left here, we met and we were just talking, and we all saw the girl, and he was able to recognize the girl, at least he has been seeing the girl around. But me, since then, I've never set my eyes on the girl. And like, so they not each other. And those kind of things, and the girl just eats you and say, even though making no. So I was forced to touch glass on her face. I was like, oh, you Danny. So I was like, So I even forgot her name. She was like, what's that? And related. So that means she was able to deposit something and she was able to recall it very fast. But me, I don't know why I could not. Although it was in the night anyway. I don't. She saw me first, so she already knew that I know this person. But me, I think I was on call or something. So I don't. I was thinking probably they know each other and they should not greet each other. Me, I just stay my own way. So then those are the senses. Now let's start talking about this is an assignment for everybody here. Before I move to what we want to do. Now, for those that are online, your assignment too. Now, I want you to go and get Dr. Maria Montessori book called The Discovery of the Child. Dr. Maria Montessori book called The Discovery of the Child. And tell me, your assignment here is that, write out all the materials recommended by Dr. Maria Montessori in order to help the child refine his senses. All the materials mentioned by Dr. Maria Montessori in order to help a child refine his or her senses. The book is very interesting. If you read it, you will see a lot of things about the child. The child that you used to think is the child, you know that there's a lot of things spiritual about children than what you think they have. About Dr. Montessori on how to refine the senses of the child. You go online, you search for the book. Unfortunately, you might end up not to pay it, but there's a way you should get it. Let me even check if I have the book. Discovery. Discovery of the I'm not sure. Should be out. No, I'm not sure. This is another. Discover yourself. Discover yourself. Discuss. This is another. Okay. It doesn't written for children too. The discovery of the child. Now go online, you can check. So, just type PDF at the front of it if you want to get it free. PDF. The discovery of the child PDF. So you get a link to download it free. So that's that. Let's continue our business.
Maybe I don't type the name of the title, just the PDF discovery.
The main mention is that it will suggest that Dr. Maram Musili to mention that.
Yes.
You've seen that Dr. Maram Musili mentioned.
Yes.
So, can we continue? Let's continue this. Okay, what is it? What's this 12? I'm going to go on 12, please.
What's the next one?
Now, let me quickly read this out. Now, monitoring material for sensorial work came from Dr. Maram Mazuri of observation and from our idea was produced from a French doctor, man, Seguin, Segui. One of the board here, one of the materials here was even named after him. It's called Seguin board. It's a numeracy material. Seguin board. So I think his name is Edward. Is it Edward Seguin? The man's name or something? Seguin. I've forgotten. So the board is very well. But I think it's maybe this thing is back in the place. So those are the people that work with Dr. Maram Mazuri during her lifetime in order to produce material to make things work out. Now, in order to do this, the material is presented in a specific way or in a specific pattern. The child learns to match similar things, then he is shown how to grade those material based on quality, and then he receives the language related to his work. In presenting the material, the child in this way allow him to fully understand the concept of the work. All of the material isolate the one quality that is to be worked with by the child. This allow the child to focus on one quality. What they mean is that a child work with material in isolation. You don't use two materials. You don't introduce children to two materials at a time. One at a time. One at a time. If, for example, I want to introduce them to this material here now, this material is called knob cylinder. You know it's 4. Knob 1, knob 2, knob 3, knob 4. I can't introduce them to knob 1, knob 2, knob 3, the whole 4 knobs in a day. I will take it one at a time. Because I need to tell them everything they need to know about knob 1 before I move to knob 2. Anything they need to know about knob 2. If I now compare knob 1 and knob 2, if I move to knob 3, compare again knob 4, like that, so that they can have a full concept, a full idea and knowledge of what we are talking about. Now, all materials have what we call a control of error. I don't know if you have heard this before. All material have what we call a control of error. This calls to the child to make a correction himself. Now, all Montessori material have what we call control of error. A control of error. Now, what we call the control of error means, for example, now look what we call the control of error. For example, see this material here. Hmm? I want to fit in all these things. If all these things is scattered, I cannot put this one here because it cannot enter. I cannot put it anywhere. If I put this one here, I will see that it is awkward. I have to put this one where that it can fit in. So by the time I'm try and error, put this one, like the knobs in the dimension now, all those knobs, they have different depths, different circumference, different height. So there's something different about almost everything. So by the time you put it there, you say that no, this thing does not fit in well, or this thing is too small, this thing is too big, it cannot fit in. So that's what we call control of what? Error. So that's why emotionally you don't tell the child no, it's wrong. That's the all those things we used to do in normal this thing. I tell them that that's how they put it. Is that how I taught you? All those things we used to do. You don't leave the child alone. No, we teachers are we are, let's call us helicopter. They call us helicopter parents. Don't do that. It's over now. We did not want them to experience um, error and let them make a mistake and correct themselves, or let them learn from the mistake they have made. By the time they make the mistake, we are going to represent the material. I think I gave it. So that's already. Okay, sorry please. Okay, what do we do again? Okay, I was mentioning control of error. Yes. I said all materials are what we call control of error. Now, all of these materials are aesthetically pleasing, meaning there's something in. See this young man now. When he comes here, nobody even asks him to go and use any material. He wants to go and use the material himself. It's attractive, but it must not be oversensitized. That is why there's something you are going to say about those materials. They are not, the color are not color riots. They are intentionally made. Under numeracy now, every color you are going to see under numeracy is only red, blue, green. Basically, unless when you get to the bead tiers. The bead tiers now you have the different colors of bead. All those bead there. All those bead. Each color represents a number. Each color of bead represents a number. Each color represents a number. And like that, switched. So, except that, every other things are always, because they are specifically made for a reason. Now, such as the practical life material, this attracts children's attention to the object and allow the child to manipulate the material and work with them with ease. Now, all material must be complete. Now, I'm telling you, when you want to start preparing, presenting, or you have you want to have your home story materials, everything, all material must be complete. What do I mean by that? You must not, for example, I want to teach this subject, for example, and I discover that maybe two of these things are missing. And I say, okay, let me teach you like that. I'm not telling like Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are not there, but we have what we call Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. It is wrong in Mosiri presentation. You make sure that all the materials are complete before you start the class. You rather don't take the class at all than take it with incomplete material. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, all material must be complete. This allows the child to work. Please, somebody should understand that. So this allows the child who is working with the material to finish through the entire piece of work without having to stop or find a missing piece. For example, this is a puzzle. This is a continent puzzle. Then I want to fix the continent puzzle. I have already removed maybe 3 or 4 of this continent puzzle is missing. It will be very hard for the person to fix this thing if 3 or if anyone is missing here, because you will not know that that thing is missing indeed. I don't even understand. If I should remove this one here now, this thing here, by the time you want to put all the ones around this place back, you have issues because you will not know where that thing is. Maybe this one is the one that will let you know the guide for the remaining one. You will not know. So that's why they said all materials must be correct. So then all materials is limited. All materials is limited. Now the first term, the first use of the term limited refer to the fact that there is only one of each material in the environment. Now, if you like become billionaire, you are a billionaire, and you want to do presentation for the children, don't bring 3, for example 3, maybe you have you have different this printer, for example, you have it. Maybe your classes, you have each classes have their material. You know, there are some schools that they put material in every classroom. Every classroom has their material. Maybe they want to do presentation for their children in class. You want to go borrow their own printer or another. Maybe you're now having about 3 different printers. One is enough. No matter how many they have. One is enough. Why? This is going to teach them resilience. It's going to teach them how to take turns. It's going to teach them patience. They are going to learn from the mistake of others, and they are going to correct themselves when they are about to present. So that's why we use the word limited. Now this calls for the students to build upon their patience. The second use of the word limited is in reference to the idea that not all one quality or piece of information is given to the child. Because if you have about 3 of that material in your listing, there will be distraction. You want to be passing information to everybody individually, differently. But when the material is just one, everybody is focusing on that one. So the information is going across to everybody. I hope you understand what I'm saying now. So the child is not given every color in the world, but only selected few. So this gives the child the key to the work, to the information. So it piques his curiosity and leads him to learn more out of his own interest. Because once you bring more materials at a glance, there's going to be distraction. Somebody might be working with this material and you're like, his mind is already in that material. He's waiting for that person to finish using that material so I can go there. But if you know that it is only one you are using today, all their focus and concentration is going to be there. Now, most importantly, all the materials could be called materialized abstraction. That is why this is not the amount. I printed it enough. Excuse me. In case if I left you know that. Okay, the person here said in Montessori classroom, you don't tell the child no, that's wrong. If they are not getting something right, allow them to experience the error and try correct themselves. That's not an issue. So one of the students coming up, where will the assignment be submitted? It's going to be submitted to me. She said where? So it's submitted to me.
When?
Next week.
Next class.
Next class, yes. Next week Saturday. So where am I? This means that through Montessori sensorial materials, abstract concepts are made into concrete material. Abstract concepts. That's in Montessori school. If you call yourself in Montessori school, you don't teach in abstract. See that in there? Those things, or the first one on the shelf there. Those materials. That's what. Bring it, please. Let me bring it. What is this, everybody? It's a what? Cone. But growing up, how we taught cone? This is how we were taught cone. Is that not our cone? This was our cone.
Yes.
But now, Montessori we bring that no, we don't do this cone again. This is now cone. Because this is 3D. As I said, we bring abstract material into concrete objects, to life, to real. Everything here have their own flats, which we always draw on the paper, on the this thing. So that's.
If we now want to draw this one on the board now, how will it happen?
You see how you draw it on the board. When the child already understand what we call cone, he has seen it, he has used it, he has understand it. There's no reason why he didn't draw it on the board. Well, by the time they get to upper grade, maybe they are having it in mathematics, they already know what cone is in real life. So when you are talking about the height, they know that the height you are talking here. You are talking about this place down here. When you are talking about the radius, the base, they know what you are talking about. It's not like this is. This was how me I was taught to. I don't even know how I end up passing the questions to them. I don't know how I get it. Because in real life, you don't see cone. The only time you see cone is when these people used to anything on the all these ice cream people pass.
Yes.
You know those cone now that they just put ice cream on top of it. That's the only time you see cone. Or probably during Christmas time, that cone Christmas cap like that.
Or we can actually make it
Very
our
fast.
cardboard.
Yeah, this is your cardboard, but how many teachers then think beyond the box that okay, let me make a cardboard, cut this thing, cut the base, let me use paper tape to do this thing. Maybe when they want to teach them, they will tell you that in project, you do it in project. Cube, draw box, like rectangle, another rectangle, put line like this. That's your own box. That's cube. That's cube. But here we have cube. There's flat of it. Under it, there's something there. There's a card of it where you're going to be talking about things that are related to. You understand? So there's an elementary card for that. So Montessori saw the importance of manipulation of objects to aid child's in better understanding of his or her environment. Now, through this child's work with sensorial material, the child is helped to make abstraction. He is helped in making distinction of his environment, and then the child is given the knowledge not through word of mouth, but through through his own experience, because he's going to experience all those things. Hot, cold. By that, if you come outside and sun is shining, it is going to be what? Hot. If you come outside and rain is falling, it's going to be what? Cold. And you will lie. I will wait till rain, sun is shining. I will tell you to come outside. Let sun hit your head small. Let's stay there for like some minutes. You see it. How is the temperature? We talk about the temperature that is hot, because by the time you all come here, it was cool. Then they can differentiate between the temperature. When rain is falling, you can just run inside the rain and run out first. Like this is how rain is. Some of them have maybe rain has drenched them before once, but they don't even know how to explain the feelings of one rain when you are being drenched by rain. You understand what I'm saying? So, but we take them through the environment. So that is everything we have relating to the sensorial. But I said we are going to be mentioning every material under the senses, but we are going to go on break because it's already 12:10. I said we are stopped at 12. So we'll go on a short break. When we resume back, I will mention all those material that we start using we start with our practical.
How many minutes?
How many?
Minutes break. When is our break?
I'm not eating today. My eyes is.
Yeah, please, there should be time.
Let's say 15-10 minutes. Yeah. So we are going to go on a short break now. For those that are online, we are going to be coming back in the next 15 minutes. We have already spent 1 hour